Hey, what's up, guys? It is Tuesday around 12 o'clock. That's Pacific time over here. Hope everybody's doing well considering the current status of the country with the COVID-19. Um, some of you guys have been following the channel and some of my stories on Facebook and Instagram. I'm doing these sketch videos. I figure they're going to be inexpensive and free, and you won't need any materials. These are going to strengthen your skill set, whether drawing is a passion or could be used as a tool. I use it as a tool. I enjoy it, but it's a valuable tool to help sell jobs and visually communicate your ideas on paper. So as we always talked about, we're using SketchBook Pro. This again is freeware. I think that's very important as we move out of this COVID-19, looking ahead. Um, the ones who invested their time wisely are usually the ones who are going to come out with like sharpened steel. So they'll be more effective in their profession. So let's just jump right in. All right, let me move this down. Okay. All right, so as we talked about, it's just Sketchbook Pro. And these videos that I'm doing, it's just helping me kind of get used to the software as well. I've been spending a considerable amount of time on recording the videos, saving them onto the cloud. But the live lets me put out some information, help you guys get acquainted with the software, download it, look up some questions and do some of your own research as we kind of step through this. All right, so what I did is I downloaded some images, and I'll just go through these one by one. All right, you got this rock here. It's got like a bolt on it of some sort, but I wanna bring up some of the properties. Look, it's kind of round, obviously, and then there's not a significant light source within this, so this will be a hard thing to sketch. Today we're gonna be sketching rocks, so I'm gonna kind of stay in that thing, and I'll also have some architectural items as well. But this is hard to sketch, I would think, because the texture is what's telling it that it's round, as opposed to something like this. Check this out. So I want to point out these things because some of them are going to be easier to sketch than others. Look at these are complete beautiful circles, spheres, and they have a distinct light source. So pretty important to help sketch that rock and visually communicate those shapes, right? Then we got this one. And I'm trying to bring up small things that help you sketch, but not only help you sketch, you're going to build these projects, for resale or, for personal use. But this is going to help you help design, have a bit of design eye, help you shape the foam, whether you're using foam or rebar, whatever your armature methods are. And overall, it's just going to add a whole new layer of skills to your tool belt. So look at this rock. This rock doesn't really have a significant light source either. And we'll zoom in here. Just the top surface. This, let me choose a pen here. This right here is brighter than here. But all this in here gets lost. I mean, it'd be very hard to sketch that. But we're going to sketch this and show you a little kind of sneaky tricks that we can do with gray tones and different tones of black to help communicate that shape. So you could build that out of foam. All right. And I guess on that note, let's start with that shape. I'm not sure if we're going to get through all of these in this one setting, but we'll see what we can do and get done in the time we have. Okay. Now, I just deleted that by accident. A cool trick is Control Z on the keyboard. It just undoes the last event. So I'm going to just remove those, just hitting the undo. Now, if I hit the V on the keyboard, this little tool comes up. And then I can scale that up or down. Huge time saver. I'm going to put it over here. Okay. We're going to start with that. Now I'm going to make a new layer. That's the plus sign right here. Right? So pick an orange, dark brown. look like lead. And when we pick that sketch brush, art pencil, let me bring up the properties. There it is. That's what the shape looks like. All right, so let's draw this rock. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to draft this rock. I wouldn't even call it drawing it. Drawing, you know, when I first got started drawing years ago as a kid, I would do a lot of copying, line for line, angle for angle. But the problem with that is you never really get a sense of drafting. You're just kind of recording information that you're seeing onto another piece of paper. So it kind of stunts, at least for me, I'm only talking about myself, stunt my growth as creativity. But when you start drafting, like we're going to do in this episode, it really opens up the wheelhouse. So we can look at rock as planes, right? So we'll call this plane 1. And that side, so this is going to be plane 1 right in here. All right. So I could draw a box on an angle like that. That's the angle it seemed that rock, that plane seems to be going. Then it does something like this. And right now I'm not really concerned with the total geometry. We're just going to shade this in. We're just going to be building it like a box right now. You know, something like that. And then, you know, we can just hex it out. And then you've got this ellipse in here. Now, over here, we got those plane changes, right? So I can put some lines here to help my eye see what's going on here. Hits this bottom, then it goes underneath, right? Same thing here. I can put these contour lines, as they call them. You know, on the top, it's pretty flat. If this was bumpy, you'd be putting some ones like that. If we had bumps on that, help describe what those surface is doing, right? And then the rock comes down. So this is some of the exercise you could be doing on pencil and paper. You know, hit Bing or Google, hit the search engines, start Googling plant rocks. Again, keep in the mindset that you want to sell these items. If we come out of this COVID-19 and you want to be producing, people are going to want realistic things. So I'm thinking plants, people are going to want to grow their own vegetables. So I got another video coming out on that, how to make these like monolith vegetable growers and make them look pretty and they're functional. And so we're kind of changing our mindset on what we're going to be creating and what helps you, what to be sketching on to strengthen your skill set there. All right. So I'm going to put some more planes here. Doesn't have to be perfect. We don't want exact replicate. We're just kind of taking some of the attributes of this rock. Right? I'm just drawing those lines, help again communicating what the rock is doing. Right? Something like that. All right. And then he's got the plant in here, right? Okay. Now, what's nice about digital, like we talked about in the other videos, is I can make this smaller, bigger. I can move it now. And I'm going to move it over here now, and I'm going to leave it in the sketch stage like that, right? Pretty simple. Now, again, what we have over pencil and paper, I can click that middle, see that middle ring? Then this little sub window comes up. This duplicate layer, it's going to make that new layer. It's going to duplicate that layer. So now I have two of them. Then hit the V key on the keyboard. Or if you don't have the keyboard, let's say you don't have a keyboard hooked up, I'll show you another way. This tool right, let's see, yeah, right here. Quick transform. When you click it, look what comes up. There's the arrow. It's basically a shortcut key. So now I can take that other layer and I can move it. I'm going to make this a little bigger now. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to lower this. See how I can go to 0 or 10? I'm going to lower it just so like a piece of tracing paper now. I got kind of a rough draft of the geometry of this rock. I'll make another layer, like a piece of tracing paper over the top. Go back with my pencil, and I could redefine some of the organicness. The good news is about what I'm teaching. We're teaching how to draw rocks, trees, so lines aren't perfectly straight. We will get into that when we start to get a little more architectural, concrete countertops, coffee tables, things with 90-degree angles, stuff like that. You won't, so we got a lot more leeway with this, all right? So right now I'm just doing this real sketchy. I'm not looking to go straight lines with this now, like that. I don't want to go around it like this and rebox it, unless that's the look you're going for. Now, if you don't have a keyboard, see how I'm backstroking all of these that I don't like? You could also hit this big red button up here on the left. It says undo. See that? Just step back. Real powerful. Pencil and paper, you're going to have to erase that. The paper gets a little crumply, so advantages and disadvantages, right? Okay, back to the pencil. Now I'm looking at my reference very closely. Look at that bottom. See how it's kind of a dead spot right there? I'm going to go ahead and put that in. It climbs up and back down, and then this is kind of a shadow, showing that angle, right? I'm just going to go around the bottom, real sketchy, keeping things still kind of loose because I can make modifications. I don't have to follow this understructure to the T, nor do I want to follow rock anyway. Like right now, I'm going above that. I'm not tracking that same line. I can stop and leave a little area for the plant. Since we have that in now, all right? Then I'm just going to get the overall plane change of this top. Something like that, right? Now, I'm a lot sharper here than on the reference, but that's okay for now. We're going to get that with the shading. I'll show you a couple of tricks, right? I'm a fan of sharper rock, so I can take this rock and change it just by shading it. Again, it doesn't have to be to the T, right? Now look at that. You already got something looking pretty decent for, a couple minutes that we spent on it. And then let's just say this is your botanical here, right? Something like that. All right. I can turn this underlayer off now. That's the underlayer, top layer. When we started with that, then we put that on top. We can take that off now. I'm going to leave it on. And what I usually do with my sketches, I'll leave some of that. I like some of that smudge or, undertone. So some of it I will erase. I'll take the soft eraser, some of these straight lines, and just buzz them down a little bit. Basically give them a little bit of a haircut. All right. And then I'll use the smudge tool. Again, I'm not really messing with the top layer. I'm only going to smudge the bottom layer. And see, if you look close, I'm just smudging that around. So now I don't have straight lines no more. But I can use it for something. It's going to give it some undertone. Figure you put them in, we might as well get something out of them, right? Now check that out. It's not much, but it helps in the end. It really does. Now, I'm going to merge these layers. Merging means that they're two independent layers, but now I'm going to combine them into one. So you go on the top layer, hit that ring button, And this one says merge with below or Control E. Boom. Now look, it's all on one layer. Now I'm going to make a new layer. And this is going to be my shade layer. And I'll show you a couple of different things that we can use with this. We can use the marker. This is what the marker looks like. See, it's kind of, it really resembles a marker. And then again, that's on its own layer. So I could erase, cut back, if I want to, I can really dice it up. And then the soft eraser, more of a blend. See, it's more of a fade. See that? So both have their advantages. All right, but we are going to use the marker, okay? So I'm going to go total grayscale, and I'm going to go right around there. That softer gray. See? And now I'm going to color the whole thing in. Now you notice the marker, it keeps your pencil lines. We'll leave out a little bit for the plant, right? Oh, okay. And if you do this on pencil and paper, go get the Copic markers. They come in different levels of gray, 10%, 20%, 30%. So you can follow along with this. You could do it with a pencil and, shading it. If your artistic skills are there, you can do it with different shades with different types of pencils, charcoal, number 2, whatever. All right. Color the whole thing in. A lot of times too, you'll notice me color like this, but it's good idea to go with the grain of the rock. Go with the lines. So if there's a smudge or something left behind, it works for you. A lot of you guys who take my carving class, it kind of teach the same methods in carving, Okay, so we got it all gray, right? So check that out. See that? Now the top is getting lit, so I'm gonna buzz that down a little bit, and I'm gonna airbrush in some of that gray out. So you notice how the top's kind of got a little softer or light gray. We'll leave it at that, right? So there's the gray layer. Now I'm going to make a new layer, and I'm going to pick another level of gray. Go back to the marker. And we'll go something like that. Okay, so make a new layer. We're on the layer. So this side, well, let's do the bottom. That's the darkest. So check that out. See? You buzz in a little bit of that. Then I'm going to make another layer. I do a lot of layers because it's so much more functional, easy to get out. And I'll show you why. I'm going to take the same gray, and over here, I can put that in. But watch what I can do now. I can turn it down a little bit. See that 0? Just turning that up between, because I don't want it the same level as that, because that's underneath there. Again, we're visually communicating this, right? Put a little over here. We can buzz in like some of this rocks, it's got some dimples, right? Then I'm going to go one layer darker. We'll go something like that. Make another layer. Again, I'm going to do the same thing. I can turn that down a little bit. Now I can just really kind of, put some darker spots here and there. Then I'll show you another little trick. Or something like that, right? Now I'm going to smudge this. Use the smudge tool right there. See that? Smudge. And I'm just going to smudge it around a little bit. It's cool. It's like having a wet finger kind of a thing. All right. Good enough. I'm going to merge this. Control E on the keyboard. Control E. And Control E, I think. There you go. There's your shade layer. And remember, we still got the pencil sketch. So that's what it looks like without the pencil. The pencil kind of fills in the voids. Now I could repencil this. So I'll turn that down a little bit. Well, actually the pencil layer. Like there, make a new layer. Now, I really like this pen. Let me click on it for you guys. It's called the medium tip marker right there. Get it, download it. Should be with your brushes already. And what we're going to do is we're going to outline this. And that's where it really comes to life. I'm going to pick black. Let's just go black for now. Now I'm just kind of tightening up what's there. You know, kind of stylized, you know. And then what's nice about working on the Surface Pro is the pen sensitivity. So by lightly grazing over that, I could put little anomalies in the rock to give it to read like rock. You know, now I won't fully define these edges now. You know, just put little indications or something like that. Again, I'm going with a little more sharper look, but that's what's nice about inspiration. You don't have to follow it to the T. You know, keeping the lines pretty sketchy. You know, almost like you had a lot of coffee. Again, what's nice, I'll drop this ellipse in like that. And then when the botanical is, or the plant, I can erase out that area. Okay, so now we can get ready for that. Okay. Then get back to my pen right here, a little more. So we got the grayscale in. Give some indications this is coming down. Real light. I'm just real lightly with the pencil putting some stuff in. I'm going with the grain of the rock, right? Drop shadow there. If you want, you can put the perspective lines on the floor. It really helps it, you know, give it the ground. We'll get into those classes as well. And then, all right. Let's see if we can run. So I'm going to open up this graphic, make it bigger. And see that fern set, we could take that fern, right? You could drop it down in there. Just to put something in there if you didn't want to sketch it all, right? See? Right about there. Another classic way of using digital. Now, if you notice, the whole picture's on there. We don't want that, right? We just want the fern. So I'll come in here again with the hard eraser tool. I can make the size, right? So I'm basically going to erase everything but the fern. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we see what we're doing. I'm erasing all of that out. And I'm not going to go do this whole process. It's pretty tedious. So what we'll do is we'll just put a soft eraser on it for now and then do a blend out. I'll show you what I mean. We just finished getting most of this out. All right, almost done. I don't want to go too crazy here. This is something where you want to have music. Tedious things like this, if you got to come in here and erase all of this, right, and then you don't really do a clean job. Photoshop's got better options for this, but for freeware and to help sell items, it really helps to kind of add this to your skill set, putting realistic looking objects into your sketches, right? Especially you guys doing the pulls. You know, you can take a picture of the area of the pull area, the surround, where the rocks are going to be, the outdoor kitchen. This is critical because you could just drop and superimpose this stuff right into that photograph. And planning on doing those videos as well. All right. So anyway, back to the COVID-19 while I'm doing this. Been doing some research on it. You know, I think I touched on it in the last video, but vitamin C, your body should be loaded up on vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, and exercise. As this thing blows through on how bad it's going to get. We don't know. It's got to play out, right? But stay up on your supplements. Okay, so I switched to the round brush now because I don't want to go in there and have to clean all that out. So I'm just looking to fade it, right? See, I was kind of making the green kind of fade out. I don't mind that for now. But it's making that transition not so abrupt, right? Kind of looks cool too, like it's off into the distance there. But check that out, right? So now we have that in there. See, it's its own entity. I guess we can get rid of those pencil lines on top, which are off that one. See that? So we're going to erase those pencil lines. All right. Now the top just needs a little texture. It looks like that's polished. We're going to come in there with the marker again. This one. And I'm just going to put some scarring or some type of, given it, we want to communicate that surface that it's something rocky. All right. Again, just putting little circles and different shapes to help represent texture. I don't want to complicate this. It's kind of your starter rock, but pretty simple. We're just using gray. We're not getting into color just yet. I'll show you, we can do color washes on this that really help. And but we'll probably save that for the next video. So that's kind of your homework assignment right there. I would definitely start there. Let me, but I will darken this up. I'm gonna use the ink brush, and then I'll just go a darker tone. And I'm just gonna swish in here. It's a little bit darker in some areas. This brush is nice because it really helps you control. It just looks natural when you stroke it on there. There we go. All right. Now I'm going to group everything together. So that's on its own layer. Just grouping them down. We want to leave the plant by itself though. So the rock, let's erase out what we don't want, right? And we might as well leave those floor lines, right? We'll just edge them out a little bit, clean them up. I'm using the soft eraser so things look kind of sketchy. All right. That's that. And we'll just plant up. And there it is. All right. Let's see. What you could do too, what adds a little bit of realism on this, take the green, make a new layer. Pick a brush. And I would select the green on here. Remember the color picker tool? You hit Alt on the keyboard. You can extend out some of these so it's overlapping. They don't have to be perfect. It's just indications of, you know, some fern overlapping a little bit. And so when you zoom out, it looks like it's going over the rock. Little trick there. You fade that out. And that's it. I think we're going to keep it at that. So remember, first step, let's go behind this. Okay, there's our rock, right? We took the form, we kind of use it as inspiration, and then we started with the pencil sketch. Remember that? Then we copied that pencil sketch. We didn't re-sketch it. We use it as like a template to follow, following the geometry. Again, this all helps in the foam cutting stage or the rebar stage, whatever your armature process is. And then we end up with that. And then we've go ahead and took a real graphical image from the internet, erased out what we don't want and just slopped it in there. And this is just a quick study sketch. We'll save this and we'll do this again. And then we're going to put some coloring on it real quick to help you sell these items. When we come out of this COVID-19, hopefully the economy is going to be a little different, but I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity. And I think some of these goods are going to be more functional. So if we could add functionality to them, I think that you're going to put yourself in a better bracket for resale. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit me up, send me an email, info@rocksculpted.com. If you have any questions, heads up, I am going to be doing the whole class workshop schedule. So everybody that sent me an email and said you're interested, you'll get an invite. And some are going to be free. Some of them are going to be charged, trying to keep things super inexpensive. And that's it. Stay safe, guys. One love. Peace.